CQ RAYNET. This is Golf 4 November Romeo Charlie, operated today by Greg, Golf 0 Golf Uniform Bravo, serving as net control for the RAYNET-UK weekly activity period. This net meets each Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock local time and is open to all amateur radio operators interested in emergency communications. Primary purpose of the net is to provide the opportunity for members to test equipment, exchange traffic, news, opinions and information, and further information about the organisation can be found at www.raynet-uk.net. This is a directed net, which means all calls are to be made to the control station unless you are advised otherwise, and all RAYNET-UK operators are invited and encouraged to check into the net. When you do check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your name. And if you wish to leave the net immediately, then please call in and out. Otherwise, if you want to leave after subsequent turns, then please make it very clear you'll be leaving at that time. After I've heard a few check-ins, I'll repeat what I've heard, and if you're not acknowledged, then please do try again. If you miss your turn for calling in, I will be calling for strays at the end of the UK station section and the international station section. So, I'll now begin taking check-ins to the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net, as usual in call sign number order, starting with stations with figure 8 in their call sign, please. Go now, G4 NRC, over.
Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie, name's Phil. Oh, excuse me.
G8 EEY, Golf 8 Echo Yankee, name is Mike. Golf 8 Sierra Delta Uniform, name is Bob. No traffic, in and out. And good afternoon, Greg.
G4 NRC's got Phil, Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie, Mike, Golf 8 Echo Yankee, staying with me, and Bob, good afternoon to you, Golf 8 Sierra Golf Uniform, copy to you in and out. Any other rates, please, G4 NRC, over. G4 NRC, nothing heard, so let's try stations figure 7 and their call sign, please go ahead. G4 NRC, over. Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, G708, good afternoon, Greg.
Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon, Greg.
G4 NRC has got Graham, Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, and Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Any other 7s, please? G4 NRC, over. More 7s, so we'll go for 6s. Stations figure 6 and their call sign, please go ahead. G4 NRC, over. G4 NRC, second call for any stations with figure 6 and their call sign, please go ahead. G4 NRC, over. G4 NRC, no 6s, let's go 5. Station with figure 5 and their call sign, please go ahead. G4 NRC, over. G4 NRC, no sign of R5s, let's go for stations figure 4 in their call signs, please go ahead. G4 NRC, over.
G4 WQB.
Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, Phil, over. G4 and RC, good afternoon Keith, Golf 4 Whiskey Quebec Bravo, and Phil, Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot. Any other fours please, G4 and RC over. G4 and RC, nothing heard, so it's 3, stations figure 3 in that call sign, please go ahead, G4 and RC over.
Golf 3 Victor, Echo Hotel, Chris in Winchester. Good afternoon, Greg. No traffic for me, so it's in and out. G3VH. Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, Ian, in and out. Thank you, Greg.
G4 and RC, is that Chris, Golf 3 Victor Echo Hotel, and Ian, Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, both in and out. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Any other threes, please, over. G4 and RC, no more threes, so let's have 2. Stations with figure 2 in their call sign, and that includes the intermediate 2s. Please go ahead now, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NLC, 2 Echo 0 X-Ray Tango Alpha, Jason from Essex RAYNET. Back to you.
G4 and RC, good afternoon, Jason, 2 Echo 0 X-Ray Tango Alpha. Any other 2s, please, over.
Alright, calling.
G4 and RC, right, we've had a bit of a collision there. So, I've got Colin, 2 Echo 0 Charlie Mike Sierra. Just confirm if you're staying with me, Colin, 2 Easy 0 CMS, G4 and RC, over.
From 2E0 CMS, yeah, confirmed.
G4 and RC, thanks. I'm doubling with you, 2 Mike 0 Hotel Tango Papa, 2 Mike 0 Hotel Tango Papa. I believe it's Nick. Are you staying with the net, over? To Mike 0 Hotel Tango Papa, 2M0 HTP on Brandmeister, G4 and RC calling you over. G4 and RC, nothing heard. I'll have to check on membership status in a minute. So that should have ended the 2s. Any 1s, please? Stations figure 1, their call sign, G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, second call for any stations with figure 1 in their call sign for the RAYNET-UK net, G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, no 1s, so it's the 0s, and let's go for the Mike 0 stations. Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please go ahead now. G4 and RC, over.
Mike 0 Golf Uniform Yankee. Mike 0 Juliet Sierra Alpha, East Suffolk.
Mike 0 November Alpha Sierra. Good afternoon, everybody. Neil from Essex RAYNET.
NRC. Okay, so I've got Guy, Mike Zero Golf Uniform Yankee, Alan, Mike Zero Juliet Sierra Alpha, and Neil, Mike Zero November Alpha Sierra. Any other Mike Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, please? G4 NRC, over.
Mike Zero India Tango Mike Andy with Shirley and Cornwall. In and out. Thank you, Greg.
G4 NRC. Thanks, Andy. I was worried that Cornwall might have floated off into the ocean. I was missing you and Shirley. Okay, Mike Zero India Tango Mike, yourself and Shirley noted and copied it in and out. Thanks for that. Let's have Golf Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, please. G4 NRC, over.
Golf Whiskey Zero, Juliet Lima X-ray. Good afternoon, Greg. Name is Andy. No traffic, so in and out. Today, please, over.
G4 NRC. Good afternoon, Andy. Golf Whiskey Zero, Juliet Lima X-ray, and copies you in and out. Any other Golf Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, please? G4 NRC, over. For NRC, nothing heard. So any UK stations who've missed their turn to call in, please call in now. G4 NRC, over.
To Mike Zero Hotel.
Okay, 2 Mike Zero Hotel Tango Papa. Nick, I did acknowledge you the first time you called in. You're showing 44% packet loss onto the Brandmeister system at the moment. So lots of packet loss for your station. You are checked in. Not sure if you're in and out yet, or not yet though, because of the packet loss. Just try again, see if it gets any better. 2 Mike Zero Hotel Tango Papa, G4 NRC, over.
To Mike Zero. I received my hotspot, so yeah, thank you very much. Over and out.
Mike Zero Hotel Tango Papa. Understood, Nick. Well, not understood. 39% packet loss, but at least you acknowledge you've got called back in. I'll got the over and out, so I'm going to guess you might not be joining us on subsequent rounds rather than being in and out. Okay, let's try for the international liaison stations. Usually Nord-Samband of Norway, Ireland in Ireland, stations in Slovakia, Slovenia, and some of our other DMR colleagues on mainland Europe. Please call now. G4 NRC, over.
Lima Alpha 6 in your Mike. Name is Hans, in and out.
Echo India 5, India Echo Bravo. Tom here. No traffic from me. Greg, so in and out.
G4 NRC. Good afternoon, Hans. Lima Alpha 6 India Mike, and Tom. Echo India 5, India Echo Bravo. Both in and out. Any other international stations, please, for the RAYNET-UK net. G4 NRC, over. G4 NRC, nothing heard. Right, that brings us to errors. 19 check-ins, which is a good place to be. So good afternoon all. Reminder that net is being live streamed by Graham, GCH. might tend to drop out. So this net is being live streamed by Graham, G7NEH to YouTube as an experiment today. Live stream and recording, and my face sadly will be available by searching G7NEH, that's Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, on YouTube.com. There should have been a time constraint net today if anyone was trying to figure out my routine, but no basketball for me today. Is too much real work and RAYNET work to get done before Monday, so we're not under any time constraints today, which is unfortunate because this is a slow news week this week. We've had snow in the UK, which is thawing locally here in Cheshire. Colder conditions have pulled UK gas storage down to 70% total from 80% last week, but the gas and electricity networks are responding well to the demand with only a couple of pinch points noticed this week. The markets had to intervene. We've had a call from one group this afternoon who are being involved in national power outage exercise Mighty Oak in a few weeks' time, but who weren't involved in the preceding exercise Lima. This obviously puts us on the back foot in some ways, but it could also be an indication of a penny dropping with local authorities about how interconnected the telecoms and power networks actually are. As always, it's a bit late to be finding out what we can do when the emergency is pretty much underway. So, I'm going to head around the net looking for news and commentary around the country. First on the list is Phil, G8KLC, with an apology. Thank you for sending me through the email you sent to the IT team leader. G8KLC, apologies for that email, Phil. Not sure quite why I'm dropping out at the moment. Over to you, G4 and RC, over.
We've lost you. It's interesting. You lost me for a moment there as well. Yeah, you lost the interesting bit, Greg. Got to the email I sent you, and then you went dead. But there we go. Yeah, it wasn't me, but it could have been me that contacted you today. We're also being asked to be involved in Broad Oak, and we weren't involved in Lima. So that could be interesting, and hopefully we'll get more information before the day, so that it's not all a big surprise. But numbers are slowly growing, and that's the main thing. G4NRC, G8KLC.
G4 and RC returning to G8KLC. Yeah, the punchline of the email, Phil, is that I had a query about what you asked for as well in that email to IT. So you're on my list to get back to today as I try and clear backlog rather than watching basketball. But interesting, no, you didn't call, so it makes two groups who are now getting involved in Mighty Oak after the fact when the plans have been laid, potentially. So, right, getting a theme here. Okay, thanks for that. Next to Mike, Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC from G8EEY. Yes, well, Mighty Oak, well, we've got an LRF meeting on the day after the next COM meeting to discuss these things, see how that goes. Yeah, weather here, 1.9 centigrade, about to plummet to minus 3.5 overnight. 1036 millibars, 95% relative humidity, 4% cloud cover, and hardly any wind at all, 1.6 miles per hour from 337 degrees. And we've got another forecast for freezing fog overnight tonight, same as last night. Otherwise, everything is hunky-dory. At least I'm inside in the warm. From G8EEY.
8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC returning. Okay, yes, well, the weather report copied most of it. You nearly beat me because I was trying to multitask and failing. Just keeping an extra eye on the RAYNET-UK and Brandmeister dashboards just to see if I drop out again. Right, will be interesting to hear the, well, not before the next com meeting, obviously be the one after that, but whatever your experiences are and what information you get before the day for the plans, it will be interesting to see what they think we can do. Whereas Graham and Phil G4HUF, coming up in their turns on the list next, have had an email from me with what Cheshire's expecting, and we need to figure out how we answer the quiz question that doesn't seem to have listened to what we said. Anyway, positive side first, Graham. How are the YouTube viewers doing? G7 and EH, G4 and RC, over. RC, G7 and EH. Good afternoon, Greg, and good afternoon to all on the net. So, as far as this week's net goes, we have 4 concurrent views, 3 likes, and total views is 7. And as for last week's net, the total views were 37, and again 3 likes. So figures are going up slightly on views. And so yeah, there we go, which is quite good. Yeah, I've just been marked as my Amazon parcel has been delivered, and the van pulled up outside and then drove away without delivering anything. So I don't know what's going on there. There we go. So not a lot to report really. I did do a video on updating the firmware for the IC705, but after watching it back, it really wasn't very good on filming angles, etc. So going to have to redo that one. I can use some of the footage, but we'll be redoing that one this week. So that's about it. G4 NRC, G7AH. G4 NRC returning. Okay, yeah, numbers going up nicely on the YouTube views. So as we've said to common others, it's fulfilling a need, so we shall keep carrying on. And good on polling a video and knowing that there's something to do a bit differently. I was watching somebody else's where it was like, if you'd watched this back, you would really not have uploaded it and would have tried again. Too much glare on the screen to actually see what they were trying to demonstrate. But hey, the narrative is enough to tell me what I needed to know, I suppose. Okay, round 2, Dave. Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is well. Not a great deal to report again this week, really. Enjoyed having a try on 6 meters on Friday evening on our local group net. It was trying and difficult with some of the conditions, and we did make some contacts, and it was worth a go. It was my first time using 6 meters, and hopefully in the future it will come to fruition and work. But next one is 4 meters, and hopefully my antenna is going up in the next week or so, and we shall give that a test, and hopefully that works. Back to you, Greg. Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar.
Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 and RC. Yes, for advisory brothers outside of West Cheshire. So we're carrying on at least until our AGM in February with rotating the net at the 20th of the month around 6 meters, 4 meters, and APRS. 6 meters was good, Dave says, but a little frustrating for a couple of us. The 2 most remote stations in the group were able to work each other, whereas I had what felt like horrendous equipment issues, and I was not getting anything moving the S-meter on that band for reasons I haven't yet figured out. So still work to be done to say it's a facility that's there ready to be used in an emergency. But we'll get there. Okay, next to Keith, Golf 4, Whiskey Quebec Bravo, G4NRC, over.
Yeah, G4 NRC, G4 NRC, G4 WQB. Yeah, I should have said it in the notes and just listening. I apologise. Just sort of catching up on things. Back to you, G4 WQB.
G4NRC, returning to Golf 4, Whiskey Quebec Bravo. Okay, no problem, Keith. Well, you've got your tick for the net anyway, so in for the first round, out for the next one. You can play catch-up better than I've been trying to do, playing catch-up today on the stuff I've got. Right, next to Phil, Golf 4, Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, G4NRC, over.
NRC, this is G4HUF. Right, good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, everyone else who's on. Let's hope that this particular transmission works a little bit better than it did last week. And that's the only reason I'm on this afternoon, just to prove that it's behaving itself in that respect. Got your emails, drafted one reply, so I won't send it straight away. We'll leave it for a minute or two and let you get over the backlog that you've got before you have to worry about it. G4NRC, G4HUF.
UF, G4NRC, the smile on my face on the live stream is thanks, Phil. Yeah, a little gap would certainly be appreciated. Trying to get the other stuff down. Again, pleased to say that 0 packet loss, no bit error rate, everything is working as well as it can for your station at the moment, and there were no drops at all on that over, so it was loud and clear. Just got to keep it that way for the rest of the net. Okay, next to Jason, 2 Echo 0, X-Ray Tango Alpha, G4NRC, over. Echo 0, X-Ray Tango Alpha, 2E0 XTA, Golf 4 November, Romeo Charlie calling over.
G4NRC, 2E0 XTA. Yeah, thank you there, Greg. Apologies, I walked out the room for a brief moment just as you were calling my call sign, so I rushed back to the radio. Yes, good afternoon to everyone from Essex. What's been going on in the last week? Well, like the rest of the country, we've been suffering from the cold weather, but not too bad. We held our first D-Star net on a Reflector 7.9 Charlie this week. That didn't go so well, but we're hoping for better results next week, which should be interesting. Other than that, it's very quiet for us at the moment. The only things we've got coming up would be the Canvey Radio Rally, where we'll be holding a promotional stall and looking to sell off some old equipment. And just this week, we had an event called the Ballarat Races cancelled on the 21st of May for reasons we don't know. However, it has now allowed us to cover a new event called the Colchester Half Marathon with a company, a provider we've worked with before, and yes, we'll start looking forward to planning that soon. Other than that, very quiet down in Essex, but keen to see what the rest of the year holds for us. Thanks for running the net so far, Greg, and I'll hand it back to you. G4NRC 2E0 XTA via GB7CL.
2 Echo 0, X-Ray Tango Alpha, G4NRC returning. Okay, Jason, that's good. You've got a decent radio rally coming up earlier on in the year to be a bit of a recruitment event, so that's good. I wish we were in the position where first events get cancelled, but you've got another one just waiting in the queue that can just slide into the place. We do tend to have horrible clashes in Cheshire, where despite telling organisers stay off this date because it clashes with something major like a marathon or half marathon, in the intervening days or weeks or months, they forget all about it and plonk the second event smack on the middle of the first one. So it's good you've actually not had any massive clashes like that. Noted down which repeats you came in through, but okay, go and do your run wherever it was outside the radio room. You're good for another 15 minutes, I imagine, at this rate. Next to Colin, 2 Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, from 2E0 CMS. Yeah, afternoon, Greg. Afternoon, everybody. Not a huge amount to report from Midway Group at the moment. So as previously mentioned, I think it was probably a couple of weeks ago now, Kent rather has been asked to take part in the Mighty Oak exercise. I believe it's going to be one of the tabletop days and also one of the practical days where we'll be doing the voice over the internet via the satellite, which I'll also be demonstrating in a couple of weeks' time at another Incident Liaison Officer training session, along with some live video streaming from the drone, which I've now got full permission for. I've had to get 2 lots of permission for that, actually, because it's on an MOD site, so I had to get permission from them. And it's also in the Rochester Airport flight restriction zone, so I've had to get permission from them as well. Apart from that, we've had some of our pre-event meetings with some of the organisers of the events that we're doing, but nothing else to report at the moment. So back to you, Greg. 2E0 CMS.
E0 CMS, G4 and RC returning. Okay, right, interesting tabletop and practical. Getting mixed messages about what different counties are doing for Mighty Oak over that particular weekend. So, again, be interested to see the divergence in how people think they're going to meet the needs of the exercise. Your comments about drones just triggered me that I need to see when my various permits and permissions expire and I've got to renew them. For the shadow tax of paying some money to fly my toy in the air just because it's got a camera on it. So, well, thank you for that reminder. That's the one that was also alongside of when's the car due for an MOT. Right, next to Guy, Mike Zero Golf Uniform Yankee. And Guy, I've noticed getting error messages up and down from the Fusion bridge, not frequently, just occasionally. I'm not sure we've tested the Fusion side of the world for a while. Mike Zero Golf Uniform Yankee, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, M0GUA. Good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, all. Yes, so I'm still trying to nail down an issue with the virtual hosting server environment. Got it down to it's a kernel bug, and I'm rolling back to older versions of the kernel before it started failing, and back to April last year kernel module at the moment, and that seems to be a lot more stable. But I'm still trying to narrow down exactly what it is, because I quite like to use current kernels rather than older ones. But yeah, when the kernel crashes, it crashes hard, and that's a physical restart, which is causing the outage. Fusion. Yeah, Fusion's still broken, I'm afraid. I've just not had any time to write a Fusion handler at the moment into the RAYNET server. So although you're getting Fusion up, Fusion down, that's the Fusion room, but it's not connected into the RAYNET server. So still running that to make sure we don't lose that number against Fusion services, but it's not joined up at the moment. That's on my radar. As for other radio stuff, not done much radio at all, really, actually. Barely turned on the radio, I'm afraid. Mostly I've been playing with my solar panels and using Home Assistant to track the solar and energy utilization in the house. My cats and their cars, cameras, and everything goes into Home Assistant now. So if anyone hasn't seen Home Assistant, then I strongly suggest having a look at that. It is a fantastic piece of software. Runs on a Raspberry Pi, or indeed anything else, but a Pi 4 works beautifully in the corner, if you can buy one. I can't like Ken's teeth at the moment. But yes, very, very good little piece of software for tracking, monitoring, and controlling your home environments. Anyway, with that, I shall pass you back for a moment because I've spoken far too long. So this is M0GUY passing back to G4 NRC.
Zero Golf Uniform Yankee G4 NRC. No problem. Thanks for explaining the background to the occasional server drops. I totally get it now. Don't know if you've had a look at the Teams chat, but I fired you across a link to a GitHub, I think it was, page. Somebody else in the UK wanting to write a totally independent DMR server in Rust. So I thought that might float your boat if you had time to go and have a look at that. He popped up on the Matrix social media channels doing this. I didn't actually bother pushing that why do you want to run yet another server button with them. It was let's just have a look what's being shared first and see where the direction of travel is. Right, next and not last on the net, so make the most of it, Alan, Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha, G4 NRC, over.
Yes, good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, very cold here in Suffolk today. Very cold here in this shack. 6 degrees in my shack today, so what's be too long. News really is we had our group AGM yesterday for East Suffolk RAYNET, and we have a new group controller, G0OZS. Ian is now our group controller and sends his apologies for not being on today because he tries to be on. We've got a new deputy, a new treasurer, and a new committee member, a new training officer, and a new committee member. So it all changed. It could be very different this year than it was last. But it has thrown up an odd question, which I haven't been able to find the answer to. Our RAYNET-UK membership runs out at the end of April. But we've now got a few members who are no longer members of our group because they've not rejoined. Not the same people who are now on the committee, I hasten to add. But there doesn't seem to be a mechanism to take them off East Suffolk on the national. We'd be interested to know if that is possible to do that. So we knew at the end of April, but we've now lost some members. It'd be nice to know how to take them off the list. It's not so bad about the list, but it's more on the East Suffolk group email on the 365, which is where it now becomes a problem. Back to you, Greg. G4 NRC, M0JSI group.
Juliet Sierra Alpha, G4 NRC returning. Okay, yeah, you're quite right. There is nothing on the website that allows you to remove a member quite as readily as that. Too prone, I think, to slips of the finger to take people off. If you have resignations in hand from those members and their cards returned, so we know they are not going to be members anymore, I would suggest emailing membership at raynet-uk.net. Now I'm going to have to check that it is membership and not memberships, because I'm bound to get that wrong as well. Maybe Mike as a com member would actually help me out and just have a check whether it's ship or ships, because we have mails going missing because of that plural. And just tell Jill who's to come off the list as far as you're concerned. Yeah, thinking about it, we have the same issue in West Cheshire that we have our AGM in February, but the membership doesn't actually run out until April. But usually we use the AGM as the start of the renewals process, not the end and drop dead date. As far as your new group controllers and other stuff's concerned, then your departing group controller should still be able to make changes on the website live and directly to show the OZS as the new controller and all the new people joining and remove the old committee members. That bit can be done online. Okay, hopefully that helps with that one. I'll have another go at the second round if it doesn't. Final on the list today is Neil. Mike 0, November Alpha Sierra, G4 and RC. Over. G4 NRC, Mike 0, November Alpha Sierra. And good afternoon to everybody, and hope everyone's well. So this is part 2 of the Essex report. Jason had a few bits, and I've got a few bits to mention. Firstly, from a personal point of view, apologies for not making the HF net yesterday, Greg, but we got Julie's brother staying, and I was entertaining, and lost track of time, so I missed that one. Last week I mentioned about us using 23531 or 5023531 for our nets. After net last week, there was a few of us and a few members of Essex popped up on this talk group and had a chat, and it's going to go ahead. Our first net on this talk group is going to be on the 25th of January, and then it'll be on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of every month, provided it goes well and provided it doesn't cause problems to anyone. Jason mentioned the D-Star net we had last week. I don't have any D-Star information, and so I tried to use the app on my phone called DroidStar. That didn't work either. I could hear everyone, but no one could hear me, so I'm not sure if I'm using that wrong. Mighty Oak within Essex, I'm not sure of our participation. Jason tells me that there is one of our chaps is looking into it, a deputy county controller, but I'm not sure what's going on here for that. And my repeater project I mentioned last week using 2 Icon PMRs has ground to a halt. I had a few replies to Facebook, a message I sent out, and suggestions. I've tried all them and it's still not working, so I'm not sure where to go next. And I think that's it from me. So that's just an update from the other part of Essex, and I will sign out with you now because my brother-in-law is still here. So good to hear everybody, and hope to catch up with you again soon. Not next week though, because I'll be on nights. Back to you, Greg. G4 NRC 73 from myself, M0NAS Essex RAYNET. Mike 0, November Alpha Sierra, G4 and RC returning. Okay, Neil, thanks for the other half of the report. Yes, I saw the query on Facebook. I think it was that one of the queries was one of those where I was looking at some of the responses thinking, read the question. But sorry, we're not able to resolve that yet. I shall try and find some time to see if I can have a think about it as well. See if I can get any manuals or any help. HFNet yesterday, interesting conditions on 60 metres. It was scheduled to be a 60 metre net, of course, with an RSGB contest on the principal bands. There wasn't much point in trying to work in the middle of that. And we had a good go at message handling practice in what were not brilliant conditions, with fading and high noise levels and so on. But from not much practice for some people, 7 or 8 messages passed in 45 minutes, which the only way is up from that. So, okay, we'll see you when you're next back around with us on rotation on the DMR net. So, what else have I got picked up from that? So, Phil, back to the top of the list and you, and yes, I will drop you an email later on tonight, Phil, with just a query about your query on the subdomain, because what you asked for in the email didn't quite align with what I thought we were asking for. G8KLC, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC, G8KLC. Yeah, okay there, Greg. Okay, I'll wait to see your email. But I thought it was fairly straightforward. But maybe it's not. Anyway, I'll wait for that happens. Exercise Mighty Oak. I've got that down in my diary for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Because my first thought was, yet again, an exercise away from the weekends, which makes it difficult for those that have to pay my pension. But not quite sure what's happening there yet. I was initially asked not to mention it, and now so many people have mentioned it. I think that restriction is probably, if not lifted, it's certainly no longer valid. Registrations or membership, the address I've got has always been registrations at RAYNET-UK.net, not membership, but I've got registrations. But maybe there's two. Anyway, I'll put it back to you, and I won't hold it, but I'll probably be listening. G4NRC, G8KLC in the group.
G8KLC, G4NRC returning. So, having multitasked, it is registrations, as you say, registrations plural, so an S on the end, whereas somebody in my zone was persistently emailing registration and then wondering why it wasn't getting through. So, okay, thanks for looking at that one. I'm just trying to tot up now. I've got 6 windows, 7, 8, 9 windows open and the clock on the 2 screens here. And I'm still missing my logger, so thanks for that extra one, Phil. Hopefully that helps Alan out in who he's got to email and find out from Jill what the appropriate procedure is going forward. I don't think there's any hiding Mighty Oak, because anybody who's been on the lemur exercises knew it was coming, or anybody who was at the AGM knew it was coming. And how it gets dispensed is the interesting part. Is it going to be a mix of live play and tabletop, or just tabletop? Which I'm sure will become clearer over the next few weeks. Okay, 7-3 to you. Next to Mike, Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee. G4NRC over.
G4NRC from G8EEY. Well, I don't need to say now that it's registrations at RAYNET-UK, which I was prepared to do, but I've been gazumped on that. Yeah, give Jill information on all the changes, and it will then come out to me as updates, and I'll have some more files to change, but never mind. Anyway, glad the AGM went okay. It sounds as though it did. I'm still fighting off the lurgy that stopped me from turning up, but glad it went okay. From G8EEY.
Try this again, since I noticed somebody else came over the top. So next, it's thanks to Mike and next to Graham, G7 and the H, to advise I won't be doing Winter Field Day next weekend. Probably either doing it through the American course or either doing it from home just to give some points away. G7 and the H, G4NRC over. G4NRC, G7 and the H. Yeah, okay, Greg. Just to update you on the views, we've had a total of 18 views this afternoon, up to now, with a current viewer rate of 8. So that's nice to see. And 6 likes, which I think is the most we've had on a live stream. I did put a little note on the RAYNET-UK group on Facebook to say that we were on air, so maybe that's helped. But yeah, thanks everybody who's hit that like button, and those that aren't on the net and listening, why not subscribe to the channel and you get notified when the nets come on and the other videos as well. So that's a plug from me. Yeah, field day next weekend. Yeah, all fine for that. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. Dave M7AVO was hoping to get his 4-metre antenna up next Saturday, which I was going to give him a hand with. So we'll see how that goes. And I can power on all batteries. I can power on the jackery, no problem at all. So I can do it all without using mains power. G4LRC, G7AH. G7AH, G4LRC, and the RAYNET-UK nets. Okay, Graham, I will allude through the week to what's happening, because if Dave's getting his 4-metre antenna up, then being around to be able to test that out slightly more distantly than under the ladder might also be useful. Okay, thanks, Graham. Next to Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Yeah, I forgot that went to field. I did see it pop up on some of the social media channels over the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, I'm interested with that. So, hopefully, between us, we can score some points and maybe win some prizes with that, Greg. Not a great deal to what this end. Thanks for taking the net, and we'll get in touch in the week and try and sort something out. Mike 7, Alpha Victor Oscar.
Seven Alpha Victor Oscar, G4NRC. Well, I think given the way the contests are American focused, anything we do makes us the top scoring stations in our particular category in the UK. Mostly because we're the only stations in that category in the UK, but hey, such is life. But interesting to see, for the confusion of everybody else on the net, a field day has an American inverse called Winter Field Day, which is still very much emergency communications focused. It's not about getting points, but getting messages through. So they specifically exclude the FT8 mode and FT4 mode, which is causing lots of tears amongst the people who want to take part, but having to beat people back into. It's an emergency communications exercise. It's not a contest, really, honestly. Insert other Americanisms here. Okay, thanks, Dave. Catch up with you through the week. Next to Phil, Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, G4NRC, over.
G4HUS. Right, thanks for that, Greg. I'm quite pleased with the fact that you reported the last transmission was fine, which is encouraging. And apart from that one transmission a little earlier on where we missed some of your over, I've been receiving everybody as well, so that's quite good. And of course, interesting identifying where various people are coming from, because Medway and East Suffolk are, shall we say, old haunts going back a long, long time. Well, that's another story. My challenge this week is to reprogram this set with all those extra talk groups that you've enabled me with. I am really grateful, which is why you're smiling at the moment. Right, on that note, I'm going to shut up and say 7-3s because, apart from anything else, Bruce is feeding us tonight, and I need to disconnect the battery charger, which is sat on the car at the moment, before I drive away and dragging cabling out of the wall. So 7-3s all. This is G4HUS clear.
G4HUF, G4NRC returning, and stuck this time. Right, I could see myself drop out of the RAYNET-UK node and it never even made it to Brandmeister. Okay, Phil, comment about lots of extra test talk groups. So for everybody else's awareness, when new members sign up onto the RAYNET-UK DMR server, habitually everybody's put into their local group talk group first, giving them the 100 talk groups that's allowed on the per group basis. Don't routinely add people into their counties, because we presume counties have got some strategy or otherwise for using talk groups at a county level. So if anybody of a county controller persuasion needs access to the server, just let Guy or myself know, so that you can then add your members into your county talk groups as you see fit, matching your local communications plans. Although some do, some don't. In Cheshire we haven't yet, because we haven't hit that critical mass of DMR users in Cheshire yet to want to be able to lock things down at the two different geographical levels. Okay, enjoy the meal, Phil. Talk to you soon. You were 100% copy, no loss, no bit error rate again on that last over. Next, for a final to Jason, 2 Echo 0, X-ray Tango Alpha, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, 20XTA from Essex. The only thing I forgot to mention on my last over was there was a question this week regarding secure and encrypted communications and what other groups and counties do to facilitate this at the request of a user service, for which I know Greg, yourself, answered this query, as did I, and so did Colin from over in Kent. If anyone needs any of the bits and pieces or has any questions what we do in Essex, please be sure to get in touch, and we'll be happy to facilitate you with an answer of what we do over in Essex. I'm still in the process of writing an article for Checkpoint on the last 2 or 3 years of DMR in Essex, which I hope to sort of get over to RAYNET-UK by the deadline in February, so that it can make it in there at long last. It's something I've been hoping to do for a few months now, and it just hasn't happened due to bits and pieces at home, but hopefully you'll find it interesting when you learn what we've been doing and how we've been doing it. So maybe it will inspire other groups to make the big jump too, as it's a request that keeps increasing, we're finding, as events go on, and events and user services, of course, which is its primary function. Thanks for the net this week, Greg, and hope to speak to you next week. G4 NRC 20XTA from Essex RAYNET.
0 X-ray Tango Alpha, G4 and RC returning. Okay, Jason, thanks for that. Yeah, probably have to add it to my list to get that procedure off you, build up a bit of a bank again of what's being done. I did try asking the encryption question, you might remember, a couple of years ago, to try and find out what default encryption keys people had and were they using it, etc. Still finding the bigger problem we have is in people actually knowing what the license allows us to do, and that encryption is permitted when requested by a user service, and that seems to be still the hard part, that RayGemisers in general don't know what the license allows us to do. So, okay, we'll look forward to seeing the article when it comes through, and 7-3 to you till next week. Next, it's Colin for a final. 2 Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra, G4 and RC, over.
From 20 CMS. Okay, great, thank you. Also, another little comment about drones. I had to redo my operator ID in November, and it's changed again, which is a bit of a pain. So I had to get the Dymo tape machine out and change the labels on the drones again. Because I've got two. I use a Mavic 2 Enterprise, one with a thermal image camera on it, as the main big drone, and then I've got a smaller Mavic Mini as well. Do prefer the DJI ones over other ones. I have played with others, but they're the ones that I tend to play with. and I've just had to renew my insurance as well. And I do believe that you're counted as a commercial operator as well if you do have a camera on your drone and it's less than 250 grams. So those people with Mini 2s and Mini 3s and things like that are under 250. They're still counted as a data collection device, which then makes them commercial. But yeah, it's been an expensive month this month so far. So with the drone insurance renewal and my car renewal both being due on the same day as a big lump of this month's wages disappeared. Anyway, nothing more from me at the moment, unless anyone's got any specific questions, but I'll carry on listening for a while after the net as well. From 2E0 CMS.
Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra, G4 and RC returning. Yeah, that's the reason I have to have the operator ID. My drones would strictly be in the toy category, literally in the toy category. But because they fly and they have a camera on board, that it made it they had to be registered. The difficulty there is actually fitting the number on something so small. Thanks for the hint that the operator ID does change. I'll keep an eye on that. I would have thought it would have stayed consistent, but hey, why would I have been right about that? Okay, 732, talk to you soon. Next to go for a final, Mike 0, Golf Uniform Yankee, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, G4 NRC and 0GY. Yep, thanks for running the net, Greg, as usual. Nothing much else to add. I did see your team's message about the DMR server written in Rust. All I can say is it's about time people started picking real programming languages, not scripting languages, to write these sort of real-time transport of data services in. The HP link is all Python, which is nasty to run in a real-time language. So Rust is a nice language to do. We're running ours in Go, which is also a compiled and performant language. I haven't looked at its code in detail. I'm not sure if it's even operational at the moment. I think it's just setting the frameworks down. So I might actually have a proper look at that at some point and see what it looks like. But I don't know Rust yet, so I'll have to go and learn Rust myself if I want to engage in that. And I've got no other things to be worrying about, I'm afraid. Other than that, nothing else to add. So I shall say 73s, and I shall speak to you all later on. This is Mike 0, Golf Uniform Yankee, handing back to G4 NRC. Well.
Uniform Yankee from G4 and RC. I'll pity some of us that are still happier with basic, but hey, I'm getting there. Python is next, and then I'll think about the other stuff. But yeah, it's interesting to see people develop, and there'll be some ideas there, I'm sure, that might provoke, but no, it was not operational, which was why I was wondering where it went next with no apparent user base. What was it being written for? Right, nearly with apologies, Alan, you're the last one on the formal list, but I noticed one call sign has snuck in on the dashboard, who I'll call in. But to you, Alan, for a final initially. Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, that's not a problem, Greg. Perhaps next week start at the M0s and work up to the G0s. For a change, or the G8, sorry. Yeah, thanks for the information on registrations. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll compile a list of the members who haven't rejoined, ask for the pass cards back, and then send the necessary information to registrations that they have ceased to be members. And hopefully that will all come out of the wash. It will all come out of the wash at the end of April anyway, but it's just annoying to be sending emails to the people we don't want to send them to. There's been, Royal Oak has been mentioned. But I can't now find the email that was mentioned in. I think we've been contacted on that, and there's going to be a meeting between our new controllers and the emergency planning people, who we did a dry one with at the beginning of December, which was a bit of a fiasco, but everybody learned a few lessons on that, which is very good. we also have been playing 6 meters. We have a 6 meter net locally using GB3 EF, which is a 6 meter repeater, of which Ian, our new group controller, happens to be the repeater keeper. That's situated middle area on the A140, halfway between the coast of Bury and Edmonds, and that had 26 people on it, really well spread around the reaches of Suffolk. I find I can't get very well from here, but that's my area problem. So that was a good test, and we're looking for that as perhaps a county-wide repeater at some point once that's been repaired, because it's actually faulty. Anyway, brilliant. Thank you very much, everybody. Mike, Justin from Forest Heath and his deputy did turn up for AGM, so there was some county involvement beyond us, so that was good enough. We're pleased he made the effort, given he's not that well, to come up and see us as well. So that all went well. Thank you very much. Back to you, Greg. Have a good week, and hopefully catch you next Sunday. Best 73 to you all.
Try again, and I'm checking my broadband connections later. M0JSA, Chief for NRC returning. Okay, yeah, I think. Chief for NRC, we're going to try one more time. M0JSA, I think there's a subtle difference between having somebody marked as resigned or expired in a membership database, so you know whether you're likely to get them back again. Expired is forgotten about renewing, whereas resigned is an active decision not to take part in future. So it would be nice to have some of these shown rather than memberships just timing out as expired when they come to the end of their term and no longer want to take part. So it'd be nice to understand the reasons why. Okay, I'm just going to have to open up another window to have a look at how my broadband is currently performing. Before I do close the net, looking off to the side, Mike 0 Lima Zulu India. Mike 0 Lima Zulu India. I noticed you called in partway through the net, but couldn't figure out when. Are you actually just monitoring the list, the net, or wanted to take part? Mike 0 Lima Zulu India, Chief. For NRC, I'm going to take the silencers, just chipped in and didn't want to take part. Okay, thanks everybody for taking part on the net today. It's been interesting. Nice to see our own check-in numbers are increasing a little bit slowly, but still doing well around the 19 check-ins in total, which is a good thing. So, thanks everyone for taking time out to take part in this afternoon's net. Be careful, have a good week, watch out for the cold weather if any more returns, and until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, I'll close the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net on Brandmeister and Pheonix 23531 and RAYNET-UK 5023531 and return the talk groups to an open net rather than a directed net. 73 all, this is Golf 4 November Romeo Charlie now closing and reverting to my normal call sign of Golf 0